Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are and whatever time of day it is. My name is Charlie K and welcome back to the Charlie K YouTube channel. It's been a little while, I apologise. I had a World Cup break that then extended into a January break and now I'm here. I am still back quicker than a lot of Forest summer signings, so be thankful about that. But talking about Forest, I want to discuss how far I think Forest can climb up the table this season. This is maybe a little bit trigger happy and I have no script and no stats to prove it, but I thought this is the best way to reintroduce the channel, a little bit of a free-flowing video similar to the one I did about Steve Cooper where I'm just talking, I'm excited, I'm sharing my opinions about what's going on at Forest right now, and yeah, hopefully it makes for an entertaining video. So before we do start, please do hit the like button and subscribe, it means the absolute world to me. I'm absolutely blown away by the support I've got so far. 200 subscribers with like 8 videos is just phenomenal, so massive thank you from the bottom of my heart, I really do appreciate it. And yeah, if you've not subscribed already, why not? I post most of the time, occasionally. Why not hit that subscribe button? Yeah, let's get into the video. Last time I posted on here was just before the Crystal Palace 1-0 win at the City Ground. It has been that long. And since then there's been a real transformation in Forest. We're no longer relegation fodder, we're no longer the sort of dead certs to go down I think probably a lot of people viewed us as at the time. We are now comfortably sitting in 13th place, above the likes of Leicester, West Ham, Wolves, established Premier League teams that have been in Europe in the past few seasons. So what's going right with Forest at the moment? I'm going to break it down a little bit and talk about a few different aspects that I think we're really doing well with at the moment, and at the end of the video discuss where I think Forest will end up this season. To get into the video then guys, the first thing that I think is going right with Forest at the moment is the consistency that we finally found within the lineup and actually the partnerships that are starting to build with this. Obviously the main partnership I think we all think of when we think of Forest currently is that Morgan Gibbs-White and Brennan Johnson link up. There is something so special about the way Morgan Gibbs-White can pick out a pass, and not even necessarily with Johnson sometimes. You look at the ball to Williams against Leeds, that just cut through their defence, and if it weren't for Ayling having a tiny bit of pace, I really do think that Williams would have been able to put that one in. One of the many examples of how we're building these connections in certain areas of the pitch. You know that they know how they play with each other. The likes of Freuler and Mangala, there's finally a little bit more of an understanding about where they're going to move and their positioning. I think earlier in the season when you had Freuler trying to make these ambitious passes, or, you know, sometimes very unambitious, just a side pass, Mangala would be advancing and there would suddenly be a loose ball, and a lot of people criticised Freuler for that at the time. I think it's showing now, you know, after Worrell's been dropped a little bit, we've seen Freuler as captain and we've reaped the rewards of that, haven't we really? We're starting to see the conductor, as he was called at Atalanta, and that's really exciting. And then Willy Bolly at the back, who I absolutely slagged off when we first signed him. I'm a really positive person on this channel, as you know. I try to stay as light-hearted and as upbeat and optimistic as possible. Even during the start of the season that we had, I was very optimistic. Willy Bolly was a signing that really confused me. I just thought, why on earth are we even bothered with this guy? You know, Wolves clearly didn't want him. Didn't realise that he'd forced a move away from Wolves at the time. And he's old, he's slow. I've watched a few games of his before. He's been a bit of a liability, but my word, in a Garibaldi red shirt, he has been immense. You look at the game yesterday against Leeds, I'm recording this on the Monday evening, and every single aerial battle, every single tackle he had to make, every interception, every single bit of positioning where you think actually a lot of the time we're going to get caught out here, Bolly seems to be there. He was everywhere that we needed him to be. And I think I saw a stat actually that between Bolly and McKenna, they only lost one aerial duel in the entire 90 minutes, which, you know, despite Leeds having a lot of the possession, that was key to us winning the game, because every single time the ball was whipped into the area, Bolly or McKenna were there to block it out. And I do think that McKenna and Worrell are fairly interchangeable in that role. I do think they're very similar players. I think you probably get a little bit more consistency from Worrell than you do with McKenna, but McKenna's good games are 10 times as good as Worrell's good games, if that makes sense. So yeah, the partnerships that are building around the team, the understanding and the cohesion that we're starting to find within the team, that is one of the biggest things that I think is going right for Forest currently. Second thing is the star boy himself, Brennan Johnson. Now, I'm going to replay a clip here Well, I predicted Brennan Johnson to score or assist 15 goals this season.
Brennan Johnson will get 15 plus goals and assists in the Premier League. I think he's that good. He's an incredible talent.
It was quite ambitious at the time. I think a lot of people thought that the step up is a lot harder than we think it is. The Championship is, you know, a very different league to the Premier League. There's a lot more pace in the Premier League, and maybe Johnson's pace is going to be very much counteracted by the standard in the Prem, but it hasn't been the case at all. I know he had a slow start to the season, but I think we're finally seeing what Brennan Johnson can really do. His play is phenomenal. After the Chelsea game where he had that one-on-one and he shot instead of squaring it to Taiwo, I think he got a lot of stick for that, and people were starting to call him selfish. And to be fair, it was very selfish of Johnson, but who wouldn't in that position? I'm not entirely sure he saw Taiwo. And in the next game, he's in the exact same position. He passes it to Taiwo, we score. And since then, I think there's been a bit of a boost of confidence where Johnson understands that with the right decision making, he's Premier League quality. And he's not just decent Premier League quality. That boy will be top 4 standard within a season and a half, is my opinion. If we're not getting offers of 50, 60 million within the next year and a half, I will be amazed. He is fantastic, and we're starting to see that confidence against Leicester, take it around Ward and slot it in. Gorgeous, gorgeous play. The second goal with a fantastic ball out to the wing. He's still in a very hard position. That's not an easy position to score from. Takes 1 or 2 touches, bang, across the goal. It's the Johnson that we saw in the Championship last year, but he's doing it at the next level, and that is really exciting. And I told you so is my little brag there. I have evidence on my channel. That was my big prediction for Forest this season, was that Johnson would be special. Halfway through the season, 7 goals or assists, slightly behind the curve, but I think with current form, we can comfortably expect him to get 15 goals or assists. Touch wood. The next thing I want to talk about, and this is both on and off the pitch, is the Brazilian flair that we have brought in. And yeah, what's happened to Forest? I thought at the start of the season we were maybe building a Welsh renaissance, you know, Johnson, Nico Williams, Hennessy, we were linked with Joe Rodon. I thought, right, we are the Welsh national team. Now we're the Brazilian national team. The same way that Wolves seem to be going in the direction of Portugal, we seem to be all over Brazilian players, and there are 3 or 4 that we were very close to signing in the January transfer window, if you believe rumours. And we've still got 4 in the squad now in Felipe, Danilo, Scarpa and Lodi. And they're good. They're really good quality. The fact that Arsenal were looking at Danilo in the summer and got priced out of him, for Forest to be able to go and get him is a real statement of intent. And you're starting to see glimpses of what he can do. I think there's still a bit of adapting to do. He's still quite naive in terms of how Premier League is being played, and there are a couple of loose balls. But give it a couple of months, and I think Danilo will be very, very comfortably a very good centre defensive mid in the Premier League. But I really want to talk about the influence that Gustavo Scarpa has had on the squad. And you see it online on players' stories, and you see it in interviews, and even during games when he's translating for Danilo currently. There is a real positive energy that Gustavo Scarpa has brought to the club, and I don't think it can be understated how important a positive influence within the dressing room is. You can see it in Jesse Lingard as well, for example, where he's not playing that much currently. He has been in and out of injuries. I know before United he got injured as well. But he's always around the squad. He's always there, even when he can't train. He's always dancing and just bringing a positive energy, and clearly that's the sort of team that Cooper has now built, where everyone wants to be involved. Even if you're not starting, you want to be around the team, you want the team to do well. And you saw that again with the introduction of Keylor Navas, and I will get on to him. You saw that yesterday with Dean Henderson going up after the game and giving Navas a hug, and it looked like they were joking. Already, a couple of days in, Henderson, who left United because he was replaced, has been kind of replaced by Navas currently, and is fine with it currently, it seems. I'm sure he will have something to say when he's not injured, but for now, he is pleased that Forest have got a replacement in that is going to offer him competition, and you know, that's only positive. So a happy dressing room is a massive, massive factor to Forest's success currently. And now I'm going to get on to Keylor Navas. I spoke to my dad when we were rumoured to be signing him, and just said, look, if we get him, then this is the biggest Forest signing in a long, long time. And that's not just because I play FIFA and he is 88 rated, which, you know, is, I'm sure every FIFA playing Forest fan is delighted with. But it's the fact that you saw it against Leeds. This man is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Absolutely. Even right now at 36 years old, this man is up there with the very, very, very best. He is world class. You look at some of the saves he made yesterday. I don't think many keepers in the league would save. That's a good point, because again, having a discussion with my dad, and we were saying that actually you can't even really say, oh yeah, Hennessy would let that in. Most goalkeepers would let that in. It's not just that improvement, you know, above Hennessy. It's above everyone other than Alisson and Edison, I would say. And current form, are you really going to back either of those as well? So yeah, I think this is a real statement about where Forest are going. And 3-time European Cup winner, still at a very, very good age for a goalkeeper, showing what he can do yesterday, willing to come here instead of taking the big money and going to Saudi Arabia, where he was absolutely chased, hounded by Al Ahly to go there. Turned it down, wanted to come to Forest, wanted to prove a point in the Premier League, and here he is, and fingers crossed for the guy. A perpetual second place goalkeeper, the biggest clubs in the world. He's now at the biggest club in the Premier League, starting, and I tell you what, we're not going to concede many anymore. And of course, how can I go through this video without talking about the fantastic job that Steve Cooper has done. There was a lot of talk about Steve Cooper being sacked in October, and actually I got a lot of my subscribers in the video talking about how I really don't think we should fire him. I think we were all right. I think I shared the views of every Forest fan. No one wanted him to go, and the board saw that. And I think without the support that we gave Cooper publicly online, then he would have been fired. I think everyone on Twitter, everyone making YouTube videos, everyone on Facebook, there was just such a collective opinion. I think there was probably 0.5% of people that thought Cooper should go, and we were bottom of the Premier League, started horrifically. We knew with time this man would gel this impossible task of a squad into a real force, and we do still roll over against the bigger clubs. I think Man United, I think all 3 games this season we've played against them, we have given them way too much respect, and that's probably the only criticism I have of Cooper, because every single time we step on the pitch against anyone else other than United, it seems, we are in a match. We are fighting, we are battling. You see against Chelsea, we're not sitting back, we're going at it. And that's the sort of football we saw in the Championship. That's the sort of manager that Steve Cooper is. And yeah, I'm just so glad that we've got him still. So glad that we've got him. And you look at the other, obviously TalkSport going on about how Steve Cooper was going to be the first manager sacked. You look at the managers that have gone already. I mean, Nathan Jones is on his way out, the arrogant, nasty little weasel of a man. Frank Lampard, gone. Hasenhüttl, gone. Scott Parker, gone. Gerrard, gone. Forest fans knew it, we've always known it. Steve Cooper is the man to take Forest to the next level, and I do believe he will. I think the board can see it as well now, and it's exciting. We're building a fortress, not just at the City ground, but within the city of Nottingham. There's a real feeling of just, we're on the rise. We're on the rise, and that is why I believe Forest will finish 10th in the Premier League this season. I do think we'll get a top half finish, and I think we're going to be pushing for Europe next year. Call me a madman, and I probably am, and I said it on Mr. Dawes' channel very early on in the season, and I will go back to it now. I think there's some real momentum building, and maybe I've jinxed everything now, but I just look at the squad that we've got and how we're playing currently. Even when we're playing badly like we did against Leeds, we're grinding out these results, we're not conceding, and we're taking our chances, and that is the sign of a good team. So yeah, how high do I think Forest can finish? Top half, if you're wondering. That seems a bit anticlimactic, really. Right, so that is everything that is going right with Nottingham Forest currently. I hope you did enjoy the video. It was probably very waffly. I will try and edit some of the waffle out. If you did enjoy it, please do hit the like button and subscribe. As always, it does mean the absolute world to me. I read everyone's comments, so please do leave a like and comment. Tell me what you thought of the video. Tell me your opinions. Well, here's the big question, I suppose. Where do you guys think Forest will finish this season, and why? Leave it down in the comments. It'd be great to hear from you. So thank you very much, guys, and I hopefully will see you in the next video. And it won't be in 2 months' time. It'll be next week. I promise. I'm holding myself to that. Have a good one, and come on, you Reds.